Hey, Stephanie,
What's going on, Steve?
how are you?
I'm very good. I like the flowers in the back. I love calla lilies.
Yeah. I got them for you and your family.
Oh, for me, thanks.
Yes. Because I adore the show that we do each Wednesday. This is Kick Unhealthy Relationships to the Curb. We're here every Wednesday from 5 to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's Stephanie McPhail. I'm Steve Vaccaro. And Stephanie, it's been how's Thanksgiving? It's been a long weekend, right?
It was great. We actually we spent for the first time in about 2.5 years. We went away not only as a family but with our best friends for 5 days at a lake and just got to hang out and relax. I mean, we still worked a little bit, but it's kind of nice when you work from your computer because you can work from anywhere. So we just had a really great time. Yeah, there's my husband David and our two kids. We did a little walk around the lake, which was really pretty. And just we had a really, really good time. And now it's back to reality, a little bit tired, but a good tired, a really good tired.
Well, that's good. That's good. Well, I'm glad that you had a great time and the dinner itself. Did you have? I know you don't have turkey, but did you have a good dinner?
Well, our friends are vegans, so it was kind of, I mean, everyone was eating the same thing. So there was no turkey there, but there was they do something called a field roast if anybody's also a non-meat eater. But they do something called a field roast, and then just get all the delicious sides that you would normally love anyway. So we had a very filling, and I tried a vegan pecan pie. I attempted to make one because I love pecan pie, and I
Wow.
have to say I'm pretty impressed with how good it tasted. It wasn't, some of them they're like hard as a rock. If anyone's ever tried to do pecan pie and it hasn't turned out right, this one actually was not. It was my first attempt, and I was pretty excited about it.
So it's Wednesday. It's almost a week. I didn't get anything in the mail. I didn't get any pecan pie or
Should I be
nothing.
mailing you some?
Yes. I'm kind of, But we had a good Thanksgiving, and
Why can I not hear you? All right. Oh. Did we lose Steve? Well, I'm glad Steve had a good Thanksgiving. It was nice to see some of the photos from Thanksgiving. And I hope that everybody is enjoying their week in, or their few weeks in between. We've got Thanksgiving, and very soon we're going to have Christmas, but in between there is actually going to be my birthday. So if anybody's wondering, you want to celebrate my birthday, that's December 16th, coming up soon. I always like to have a big thing for my birthday. I make everybody dress up and be silly for my birthday, because if you know anything about me, I'm all about being silly and having fun and relaxing. So December 16th, our show will actually be going on the day before, so I'm sure we'll be talking about it again. But I wonder if there's some other December birthdays out there. Did you ever have issues growing up not having Christmas and a birthday, feeling like they were kind of pushed into one? Because that was me. My parents tried really hard to do it, but I ended up having my birthday in November because I would end up getting Christmas sweaters for my birthday every year. And it just always felt like everything came all at the same time. So I understand all of you fellow December birthdays and holiday birthdays. My heart goes out to you. I empathize. But it's still a great time of year to celebrate. I love my Sagittarians. Woohoo! So we have an amazing guest on today. Actually, we had somebody else lined up, and she was having one of her family members ended up in the ICU. And I will tell you that as wonderful as Becky Cook is, she was willing to still come on the show. And we said, listen, it's okay. We are lucky enough to have other guests that we can take your place. And then when you are feeling more up to it, you are more than welcome to come back on the show. So I know Steve is actually going to be coming back on as soon as he's able to get back on the internet. But I'm excited to be able to introduce our guest for today. And so here, let me see if I can get a little bit of information about our guest, which is actually really cool because, we talk a lot about unhealthy relationships. And normally we get people that are in not healthy relationships on the show to talk about what's going on for them. And of course, today, that's not going to be the case. We are lucky enough to be able to have a new guest on who is not dealing with unhealthy relationships. So she's going to be talking to us about her Guide Dog Foundation and for the essential oils that she does. So before we get her on, we're going to do a little family feud, throw that in, and then when we come back, we'll be able to have our guests come on.
Top 6 answers on the board, ladies. Here we go. Your neighbor has a better Christmas light display than you. What are you going to do about it? Marilyn.
Buy more lights.
Buy more lights.
A bigger Christmas tree.
A bigger Christmas tree. Let's go. Tyler, Fast Money King.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, y'all went out there and won that money, man. All right, Tyler, your neighbor has a better Christmas light display than you. What are you going to do about it?
I think I'm gonna unplug some of their lights.
Yes, good answer.
Go unplug some lights. All right, Amy. Your neighbor has a better Christmas light display than you. What are you going to do about it?
Well, I love Christmas, and it'd be hard to beat mine, so I would congratulate them.
Congratulate him. Wayne, how you feeling today, man?
Doing great, buddy. Doing great.
Looking sharp, man. Your neighbor's got a better Christmas light display than you. What are you going to do about it?
I think I'm going to sneak over there at night and take them down.
Sneak over there at night and take them down. Me and Wayne could have been homies. Yeah. All right, Sandy, your neighbor has a better Christmas light display than you. What you going to do about it?
Nothing.
Nothing. Marilyn, how are you today?
I'm doing great.
All right, only one strike. Your neighbor's got a better Christmas light display than you. What you gonna do about it?
I might just move. I'd be so embarrassed.
That's a good answer.
Good answer, Steve.
All you gotta do is hang in there for 2 weeks. Move! Man. You're a real hater. If you move cause of some light, you're a real hater, man. All right, Tyler, we got 2 strikes. You gotta be careful. Simon family can steal. Your neighbor has a better Christmas light display than you. What you gonna do about it?
I hate the people that do this, but the people that complain to my HOA.
Good answer.
Complain to the HO, there's too much light. All right, ladies, your neighbor has a better Christmas light display than you. What are you gonna do about it?
Okay, Steve. We would hire a celebrity Santa Claus. To come over to the house. Santa Claus. They'll have the lights, but we'll have Santa.
A celebrity Santa Claus.
Look, Santa Claus, period.
We're gonna hire a celebrity Santa Claus. Number 6. Yeah. Number 5. Your ass on YouTube.
We lost Wi-Fi. I don't know what happened here.
It's all good. That's the fun about technology, right?
That's right. That's right. Well, you know what? I picked that one out because my next door neighbor has put up all these lights. Check this out. Look what my next door neighbor has there.
Is that actually your neighbor's house?
Yeah. and now check out my house. Not gonna break. That's why I put that thing on there. Do you do the whole Christmas lights thing?
You know, we were just talking about this, you know, the lights and the Christmas tree and all that kind of stuff. Last year I went all out, and I would do it again, but I'm almost contemplating not, because we're going to be away visiting family, you know, so I'm not sure if I want to deal with all of that stuff. It's a lot of extra work.
Yeah. And actually, you know, Stephanie, you do a lot of work. I mean, you work hard. I work hard. but I don't really know who has the better work ethic, you or me. What do you think? This is me working. This is me getting ready for the show today.
You win today.
And this is you getting ready for the show.
Hands down, Steve, you beat me to it. You work ridiculous hours, but you're helping other people. And I'm sure that what you do doesn't feel like work because you're constantly giving back to the community and helping people out.
Well, I don't know if we because of technical problems. Did we show you a book cover?
No, we did not.
Let's go. Let's check out Stephanie's book and what she does that she helps change this world.
So I wrote this book, Being Loved Shouldn't Hurt, a few years ago. I wanted to share my story about how I overcame unhealthy relationships and realistically how anyone who's in a toxic relationship can change their lives around and start creating a life that they are happy to wake up to every day. And of course, there's also a workbook that goes along with it. So if you're looking to start working on your own, you can start taking the steps today, maybe for Christmas, maybe for the holidays, start making yourself a priority and taking the right steps to start creating that happy life for you.
That's right. That's right. And you are a board member for our Chapters Community Support Services in our network, Chapters Network. We have 15 shows that we're all advocates for advocates, basically. What we do is kind of trying to change this world, and that's www.chaptersnetwork.org. You could check us out through our networking, our collaborations, the platform that we provide, and the support that we give to others. And there's Stephanie, and a board member, and there's going to be me in my blue suit there, and our whole staff here pays it forward. And I want to thank you for all the work that you do, Steph.
Thank you. And again, thank you to everybody on the staff for helping, Carmine for being behind the scenes, helping us every week, helping us whenever there is some kind of technical difficulties. It's like doing a little tap dance and we help each other out. So it's great to have that teamwork.
And there's more technical difficulties in New York because you're in Texas. Cindy Vallone is in California. So we are excited to have her as our guest. She does so many great things, and you know her for a little bit of time, right?
Well, we met on a business networking group. And so, we get to meet a lot of other wonderful female entrepreneurs. So it's really great to have that kind of networking available. And again, it's that blessing and curse when it comes to online anything. Because of course, like I did this past few days, I was able to work from a lake house. And another thing is that I get to talk to people from all over the world. So it's really nice to meet people from other countries, other states, who are also working really hard to help make the world a better place and to really, pay it forward.
And I know we talk predominantly about unhealthy relationships, but the goal is to establish healthy relationships. That's why we talk about it. And I know Cindy has a wonderful family, and we're going to learn about her family and what her children do and what she does. So let's bring her on because she's been waiting patiently. That's Cindy Vallone. That's her agency. And Cindy, are you there?
I am. I'm happy to be here, everybody. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so very much. You're live from California there, right? What part of California you're from?
Southern California. So Orange County between LA and San Diego, maybe 30 minutes south of Disneyland.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
And thank you for joining us here on Kick Unhealthy Relationships to the Curb. That's Stephanie. I'm Steve. And Cindy, tell us a little bit about what you do, because I'm getting such a headache right now. It's been a tough day already. I don't know if I should take aspirins or not, but I think you have another option for me.
Yeah, so I actually have a t-shirt that says there's an oil for that. I probably should have worn that. I am, one of my hats, I am a doTERRA essential oil wellness advocate, and I help people meet their health and wellness goals, whether it's physical or emotional or mental, through the use of natural-based plant medicine, such as essential oils. So that's one thing that I like to do.
So, I have to be sold on this. I don't know about Stephanie. So, because I'm not completely sold. How do you, I'm sure you encounter this problem day in and day out.
Yeah, so I was just like you. About 5 years ago, I was first introduced to essential oils kind of by accident, and I was a complete skeptic. I basically decided to take the sample just to be nice to my friend who was asking me to try them. And I started using them for head tension. I get chronic headaches. And so I thought, okay, well, I'm kind of sick and tired of some of the negative side effects of negative side effects of prescription and over-the-counter stuff. So why not? I had nothing to lose at that point. And so peppermint essential oil is known very well to be able to help with head tension. So I just kind of rubbed a little bit here. And I was surprised it worked. But again, I was a complete skeptic. So I just figured it was the placebo effect. But yet chronic migraine, chronic headache. So another one came around a few days later and I tried it again. And kind of the rest is history. I just started to say, okay, well, what else can I use essential oils for as something would pop up in our household with our family? Little things, ear pain or a digestive issue or congestion from maybe seasonal allergies. So we just started to experiment little by little, and lo and behold, it sort of became a medicine cabinet makeover for us.
Wow. Stephanie, what's your take on that?
I mean, I love that stuff. My husband, David, is really into the more natural things. And so, whenever there's anything going on, he's got some kind of concoction or tincture that he wants us to try. And of course, I'm open to it. I believe in Western medicine, but I believe also in some of the, the doTERRA, the essential oils, and some other practices that people use regularly. So I think it's a really great addition, especially if you're finding that other ways that you're trying to take care of yourself aren't working. This is just another thing to add to your plethora of choices. As I feel like it gives you another choice and to feel like you're trapped with just certain medications.
Absolutely. It's just another tool in your toolbox. Absolutely. It's just about educating people about what options there are. And I work with a lot of busy moms, and it helps to empower them. So I love that part of what I do.
So during the pandemic, we all affected, greatly. How did the pandemic affect you? And did it help your business or kind of hurt it?
We were busier than ever.
Wow.
We have a lot of products that help boost immunity. And so those were flying out of the warehouse. We were dealing with some of those issues, but it gave people an opportunity to really focus on the things that are important to them. Things like emotional wellness and mental wellness. The pandemic, this is the first time I've ever lived through a pandemic, right?
Yeah.
So we're just making it up as we go along as busy professionals, as parents, and doing the absolute best we can, but it takes its toll. And so that's where essential oils can help in terms of emotional support, helping with stress and overwhelm and sleep and anxious feelings. So it's been wonderful to be able to help so many people during this incredible time in our history.
Wow, yeah.
Now, I know a little bit about doTERRA. So if you could tell me a little bit about the difference between what doTERRA oils are versus other, because there's, it's one of those that we get so overwhelmed with all these different, essential oils. Okay, well, which one do I choose? I don't know. Someone says doTERRA, somebody says another brand, and people don't really know what to do. What really makes doTERRA stand out?
Thank you for asking that question. So it's really important as consumers to know that not all essential oils are created equal. And honestly, in some circles, we really think that it's criminal that anybody can slap the word pure on an essential oil when it's not. And so one of the reasons that I chose doTERRA over 5 years ago for myself and my family, before this became a business of mine, is that our oils are really the gold standard. We're the largest essential oil company in the world. Top research universities only use doTERRA in their research, so that spoke volumes to me. Our purity standards, our ethical and sustainable sourcing practices, how we partner around the globe with farmers so that we can be where the plants are healthiest and happiest and indigenous. And so doTERRA really is the gold standard. We've set the bar, and we truly are a science company, and we're all about doing the right thing, even when it's the hard thing. So that helped me as a consumer decide, yeah, this is the company that I want to partner with.
Well, so Cindy, how do you market yourself? How do you get yourself out there? Is it through word of mouth, or do you do a lot of marketing and promotion to kind of educate and empower people in that way?
Yeah, I really built my business kind of one person at a time, and it is network marketing. So networking in events, and when the pandemic hit, I did a lot of in-person events, in-person classes, that type of thing. But when the pandemic hit, we really had to pivot. and we had to pivot online. And I realized how much I loved being able to network outside of my area. And I mean, Australia, the Philippines. I mean, we are an international organization, so there was no reason to just keep myself in this small space. So I have loved networking and meeting and getting to know people from around the globe. It's been a really nice gift.
Mm-hmm. And I know, Stephanie and myself, during the pandemic, sometimes you could be stagnated and it affects all our relationships. But some people have really turned their life around and made, a career and be able to reach new vocational sites and their passions have been achieved. It sounds like that's what you're doing as well.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, I kind of love being able to wear pajamas on the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I know the feeling, and the commute is good too that way too.
Darn good. Yeah,
that's right.
So,
now I have a question. So you're someone that's coming on that's in a healthy relationship, and so I'd love for you to share what it's like being a business owner, being an entrepreneur with a supportive family, because I think a lot of people don't really understand what that is. Like, they might want to go and achieve certain goals, but they don't really have supportive people in their lives. So what is your perspective of that, like maybe even the difference of what you've experienced of having someone supportive and what that actually looks like for you in your business?
Yeah, two things come to mind. I am very lucky. My husband and I met in college. We've been together since our very first date.
Wow.
We've grown up together. We've raised 2 amazing kids together. I mean, we're still raising. They're teenagers, so they're not quite cooked. And I think he's my best friend. And so when I need something, I know it's an absolute sure. And when he needs something, it's an absolute give and take relationship. Whoever it's more important to is kind of how we've always rolled. And it works really, really well. So he is incredibly supportive of what I do. I just reached a really nice milestone actually yesterday, and my kids and husband helped celebrate with me. So I think it comes down to communication and making sure, like for example, I have a call with a teammate. So I have an international team of people who help other people with doTERRA. And I have a call at 7 at night on Tuesdays, to one of my team members in the Philippines. And my son who's home, I have one at college, so one at home, and my husband, they're going to take care of dinner. They're going to take care of the dishes. They're going to do all of that kind of stuff. We all pitch in and help each other. So I am very, very lucky in that way. There they are.
There's your beautiful family. That is a great picture. And you mentioned your team is international. How do you work with those folks in different countries? I mean, that must be exciting, but also may have such challenges at times too.
The time change can be a challenge. That is still something that I have to triple check because it's, going on Zoom at the wrong time. I love what I do, so we make it work. And our team, our doTERRA team, is incredibly supportive and nurturing. So I wanted to speak to that. I am very lucky in that I have a very supportive family. Both of my parents are still alive. I live half a mile away from them. They're incredibly helpful and supportive. But I do have team members who are not in that same situation. And what I think happens is that our doTERRA team takes the space of that. And we help in ways that we can support and nurture and guide and mentor and lead others. Mostly women, some men, but mostly women. So it's a very beautiful community that we've created.
Wow. This is Kicking Healthy Relationships to the Curb. We have every Wednesday from 5 to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's Stephanie. I'm Steve Vaccaro, and we have our special guest, Cindy Vallone, here. And we're talking about your wonderful team. How many team members would you say you have that's working with you?
Oh, you put me on the spot. So I would probably say I have 10 who are do this business with me full time.
Wow.
And then hundreds of others who are maybe dabbling, or it's a little bit of a hobby, or are customers.
Wow. And for people that use essential oils, can you express or explain a bit how much time or how long do they use them for, and when is it when do they benefit the most by using them?
Yeah. So essential oils. Let me. What are they? Okay, we kind of skipped over that, and I know
That's an important piece, right?
5 years ago, I didn't even know what an essential oil was. So they are aromatic compounds that come from plants and leaves and petals and trees in nature. Okay, so there are essential oils in what's behind you, Steve. So what doTERRA does is we steam or cold press distill them. That's as sciencey as I'm going to get into these bottles so that we can use them in one or all of these 3 ways. One way is aromatically, so you can just smell the essential oil. You can put it in a diffuser and smell it that way, and you're getting the benefits through the olfactory bulb and into the limbic system faster than you can snap your finger. So a perfect example is, have you ever walked into a house and they're baking chocolate chip cookies? Like, it instantly floods you with happy feelings. That's what's happening with essential oils as well. And many are proven to do just that, mostly a lot of citrus, but other oils as well. You can use them topically, put it where it hurts, sore, achy muscles, or rub it on the tummy for digestive issues, or put it on the chest to help open up the airways. And then you can also use doTERRA essential oils internally. A little bit of lemon oil, for example, in my water will help cleanse my system and help keep me hydrated as well. So those are the 3 main ways to use them. And you do, 1, 2, or 3.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Now, I was gonna jump in and say this. Now, I'm sure I don't have to explain this, but for the like the plant-based vegan people watching this, this is completely vegan, and I'm sure, being that it's all plants, there's nothing hurting anybody to take this stuff.
No, it's all plants, and we actually have supplements too that are vegan, so they're covered that way. I do have a lot of vegan customers, and what's nice too, what's really important to know is that we source ethically and sustainably. So we are not doing anything to harm the planet, and we go way beyond in terms of our packaging, our sourcing practices. All of it is really with Mother Nature in mind. Mother Earth.
Well, we have a lot of young folks that watch the show, young women, entrepreneurs. What advice would you give someone that might go into the field that you're in, but also maybe want to take that step forward in doing what they feel passionate about? Sometimes there's always a crutch or something that's holding them back. What would you say? Advice would you give them?
Yeah, the best advice that I love to follow is, what would you attempt if you knew you could not fail? What would you attempt if you knew you could not fail? Right?
Yeah.
You just dive in.
Right.
And a lot of times as kids, we have that mentality. And then as we age, we start to pull back. And when that voice in our head starts to tell us no, or what happens if you do this, or what happens if you fail? And failure, I think, is a terrible word, because it really is learning and moving forward. But that's the advice that I would give. And trying something is the fun of life.
Right.
There's other things I've tried that didn't work out so well, but it led me to where I am and who I am. So I would say go for it.
And our conversation a couple of days ago, you talked about your own sons, and they're trying and they're doing things. I think one son came up to you with something that was really astonishing, and you took right to it and supported his efforts. Can you explain that?
Yeah. So my youngest son, who's a freshman in high school, approached my husband and me and said, I just watched, that's my older son. We'll get to him in a second. My younger son would be, yeah, there he is. There he is. Everybody's taller than I am. My younger son's in the gray shirt. He watched a documentary called Pick of the Litter. And it really is all about the Guide Dogs for the Blind nonprofit organization. And he said, can we do this? And my husband and I looked at each other and we said, fill out the paperwork. And he did. And we got a call a couple days later. And you have to go through some training, and you have to, kind of be vetted and make sure that you're in it for the right reasons. And the good news is that in September, we were given our first puppy. Her name is Kalimba, and we are officially puppy raisers for the organization Guide Dogs for the Blind. So we There she was when the very first day we got her. She was only 9 pounds. And so we will raise her and socialize her and train her and love on her for the next 12 to 15 months. And then she goes to what I call puppy college, where they do a little bit more formal assessment and more formal training. And our hope is that she will either be matched with somebody who is seeing impaired and be a guide dog for them, or a breeder, because the organization does need more puppies.
Wow, when your son came up with that, I mean, you took it on. I mean, it's such a great thing to get involved with, because it's a moment in time where you're there for that puppy and you're raising him or her to help others, and it just kind of reinvents it. It's the wheel of life here, the circle of life. That it's pretty cool that your son was able to come up with something like that and wanted to, and then as parents, you embraced it.
Yeah. As a mom, I'm so proud of him wanting to do this. And also secretly, not so secretly, I was so excited that so my oldest is off at college. So the three of us, my husband and my youngest and I, were going to have this commonality. We were going to be able to learn something new together. And there's not too many 15-year-olds who want to hang out with their parents. And so this forces us to do things together in support of this beautiful puppy who's going to go on and do incredible things in this world. And so it's giving our family a whole lot of gifts as well.
And it's teaching your son, it was his idea, but to do something where you get nothing in return except for knowing that you did something good.
Mm-hmm.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. And to respect and understand people who are living with differences than your own, I think is amazing, especially at this age, for him to see that we are incredibly lucky and we need to do what we can to make the world a better place.
Mm-hmm. No doubt. It's a great thing. And your other son has been involved with some things as well.
Yeah. So again, another proud mom moment. During the pandemic, our schools as soon as the pandemic started, our school shut down for a week, and everybody was sort of scrambling. They actually flip-flopped spring break, so most of the kids were excited because they just got into vacation mode. And my son, who was a junior in high school, started to tinker around with his 3D printer, which you see here. And he started to make face shield parts because of the shortage that was happening with frontline workers. And he came to us really in distress about a day and a half later into this break from school. And he said, "I'm only one person and I'm not able to do enough. I have an idea." So again, he came to us and he said, "I want to contact school administrators. And I know that we have 30 idle 3D printers in our schools, elementary, middle elementary schools, maybe even the high schools." He said, "My idea is, what if we pulled those and got those into the homes of kids who know how to use them or want to learn how to use them?" His idea was to raise money for the filament so that there wouldn't be any cost associated. And so he got this whole thing going. They called it Operation Capo. That's our school district, Capistrano Unified, Operation Capo Cares. And so he really led this effort, and I just sort of watched my child grow up right before my eyes. And I think they wound up creating over 12,000 pieces and making a really big impact. So that was pretty great.
Wow. And as a family unit, it's so important to talk about that, because often Stephanie and I talk about the unhealthy nature of families and relationships, but seldom do we get the opportunity to talk about something that, as a family unit, intact family, you're all doing things to change this world for a better place, and we really need it. I mean, this world is very polarizing right now, and we need families in the work that you do, and just to kind of get that out there, and what you do specifically is very important.
Thank you. I think it comes down to really respecting each other as a family unit. We're all so different, in our family. You know what I mean? And with my kids, I love how they found things that interested them that in the same way also give back. And that little puppy just melts my heart. So she is sweet, but has a whole lot of sass in her. So
Right.
it's not all smooth sailing with the puppy.
Sounds like my daughter.
Yeah. I have two boys, so she's my daughter. She's my daughter on loan.
Wow. And you know, when you're going back to raising the puppy there, and you know, it's a moment in time where sometimes people may look at it as, well, how can you part with them, you know, after being with you for such a long time? But you don't look at it that way. You look at it where you're really raising that puppy to really help others, and that's what their mission is, and that's what the goal is, right?
Absolutely. I get that question all the time. How are you going to be able to give her up? And you got to understand that when you go into a program like Guide Dogs for the Blind as a puppy raiser, you know what you're doing. It's not as if somebody is just coming in the middle of the night and grabbing her. We are setting her up for success. We're preparing ourselves emotionally. Will I cry? 100%. Yes, I think all of us are going to shed tears. But this is for the greater good. This is what she's born to do, and somebody needs her more. Mm-hmm. That's really what it comes down to. Somebody needs her more. So.
I'm thinking about, I have a current client of mine. She lost her sight at 50. She was just about to turn 50, and she noticed a gray spot, and she wanted to do a bunch more tests, and she had this genetic abnormality that caused her to go from completely seeing to blind within about 5 months. And there's nothing that you can do for it. And so for her, she was in a toxic relationship at the time. She felt suddenly like she was even more dependent on this guy. What am I going to do? I can't ever leave because I'm going to be stuck. You know, who's going to help take care of me? Who's going to lead me around and, you know, do all the things that I used to be able to do on my own? She was already a very independent woman, but here now all of a sudden, and she said, she's like, it almost felt like he enjoyed the fact that she had to rely on him that much more. And so I share that story with you, Cindy, because I think that those are, you know, there are people that are relying on others. Some of the people that are negatively affected the worst are people that have some kind of disability. And of course, when they're sight impaired, that's another thing where some people feel like they have no choice but to stay in these toxic types of relationships. What you're giving people by allowing them to have this beautiful, amazing guide dog, service dog to help them is the ability to have freedom, whether or not they're in a toxic relationship, but that the freedom to just be a person, to go do normal person things that the rest of us completely take for granted. So, you know, I thank you for what you're doing and giving that freedom to so many people doing this beautiful work that you're doing.
Oh, it's really our pleasure, and we're lucky to be a part of it. To that end, not only do the guide dogs give somebody that freedom and that independence, but we hear a lot of stories about somebody who was maybe a little shy before, comes out of their shell a little bit because the dog helps them do that. Mm-hmm. And the other thing is, you know, that dog has to be taken out. That dog needs love. That dog needs companionship. And so the relationship, I mean, it's a very healthy, beautiful relationship if people who are struggling can bring a pet into their home of any type, of any size. I think that it can really do really beautiful things.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
And it's great work. So how do you tie it all together here? The work that you do, and you know what you do with your family, and working with the guide dogs, and you know, what's your vision for 2022?
It's my vision for 2022. I love what I do, and so I want to continue to help as many people as I can, whether it is through my work with doTERRA as a wellness advocate. I really am an essential oil educator. And I also have people join my team who want to earn residual income or help set up a nest egg or find a way to get out of a situation. Maybe there's a job that they feel stuck in and don't like, and want to move towards some more financial freedom. So I love working with new team members, and I love working with new clients. So continue connecting with people all over the world would be on the top of my list, and making sure that this puppy gets everything that she needs, so that when she's recalled, she has the best success story we could hope for. And then, of course, for my kids, I mean, you know, all the basics, making sure that they're happy and healthy, and time to travel, right? I know Stephanie mentioned that.
Yes.
We had too much opportunity to go away, but because she's a guide dog in training, we are able to take her everywhere. So doing a little trip with her as well would be a lot of fun.
That's fun. It's great because they need to have those different experiences too. And of course, you know, and I'm thinking just as a mom, to be able to get your kids traveling and exploring the world again, you know, everyone, and especially California's been on back and forth lockdown. I mean, I feel like there's been a lot of things going back and forth with what the rules are when it comes to COVID and vaccines and all that kind of stuff. So getting out there and being able to go exploring could probably feel very relaxing.
Yeah. And I mean, you know, we're 30 minutes away from the beach, maybe an hour away from the mountains. There's really no reason that we can't just break out. And having a puppy is a little bit like having a toddler. Everything's brand new, and seeing things through her eyes, and her, you know, she cocks her head funny, or, you know, she's watching and observing and trying to figure out, you know, what do I do next? It's a lot of fun, really.
Wow. Well, Cindy, how can people get a hold of you and track you down? I know things have been flashing on the bottom of the screen.
Yeah,
but maybe you can share a little bit how they can contact you.
I think the easiest way is to go to my website, which is just my name, cindyvallone.com, and you'll see Contact Me, and you can click on that. And you can schedule a complimentary 15-minute meet and greet if you just want to chat, if you have questions. Obviously, I love to talk. And then there is a section if you want to get a complimentary wellness consult, learn a little bit more about oils as well. So that's the easiest way to go.
Wow.
I have a question for you, Cindy, I know we're getting closer to the end, but I want to make sure that I bring this out for anybody who has any questions. There's always a lot of questions that I get about people that are doing affiliate marketing. And so, you know, what is the you know, there's fears that people have, you know, which, you know, whatever, we won't get into that. But what would you say to those people that are like, you know, I've wanted to do something like maybe something like doTERRA, but I've heard negative things about affiliate marketing. Can you put those minds at ease and explain to them a little bit just like what that business structure looks like? So maybe people that never have heard from someone actually doing it successfully, what that actually is like.
Yeah. So I liken it to, you know how there's a lot of really good restaurants out there, and then there's some really bad ones? Mm-hmm. Okay. It's the same thing. There's some really great companies who use network marketing or the multi-level marketing structure, and there's some really bad ones. So you need to do your research, and you need to make sure that you feel aligned with these three things: the company, the products, and the team you're with. And I feel lucky that I absolutely love all the products, that we use them, that they've helped our family. We're much more than essential oils. We really are a whole catalog full of toxin-free, natural, safe products that you use every day. So for me, it was just a no-brainer, made my life easy. It was kind of like a one-stop shop. I love the company. I love the vision. I love that they are very earth conscious and people focused. And of course, I love my team, the team that I have attracted, but also the larger team that I'm a part of. It's empowering, it's nurturing. There's a lot of girl power. We do have men, but there's a lot of girl power going on. And it really is a joy and a pleasure to work with these amazing entrepreneurs. So if I have a question, there's 10 people I can call right away to get the help that I need. So you're not in business. I mean, I know this is cliche. You're not in business. You're in business for yourself, but not by yourself, right? So I think it just comes down to the products, the company, and the people that you're working with. And if you feel alignment with that, then the sky's the limit.
And I see your excitement, and I want to just, because I'm thinking of myself here, this is coming from my perspective, and probably Steve, you might agree with us. Sometimes it's hard to see people, let's say in a toxic relationship, and not say something as a professional to have to wait for them to come and ask? Do you, and I'm sure, Steve, sometimes when you see something that you're like, oh, that's just not right, but like knowing the right time when to say something, how do you feel, Cindy? Do you ever feel that situation where you're like, someone brings something up and you want to be like, how about this peppermint oil? Do you ever notice you're like, should I say it? Should I not say it?
Yeah, so if somebody sneezes, in the grocery store a couple aisles down, I don't run to them and start, wiping them down with oil. I'm not.
Tara, take it.
What I do offer to people is a complimentary wellness consult. It takes about 30 minutes. We can do it over Zoom, which I love. We can do it just old-fashioned over the phone. And we talk about their specific health and wellness goals. And then I make recommendations. They don't have to buy anything, but if they see something they want, I help them get it in, the most economical way. That's my job, to help you get these products that you want and save money at the same time. And so it's just a conversation. It's just a chance for you to learn more. Right. I do get a lot of referrals, but I also meet perfect strangers too. I don't chase people or hound people. I mean, if I could have a billboard in front of my house, that would be cool, but my husband probably would say something about that. So there's no billboard, but I'm just trying to get out beyond shows like this and let people know I would love to chat with you about doTERRA, essential oils, guide dogs, you name it.
It's great. 'Cause in New York, there's a lot of toxic relationships. So I carry Stephanie's books with me all the time. So when I see people arguing, I just hand one of Stephanie's books, and then refer to, that's how I handle it. There we go.
Yeah. New York.
There's oils in a book. Here, take
the New York way and the California way. We're a little bit more laid back, but I got some of that. I got some of that in me. So
well, Cindy, thank you so very much for, I'm sorry, you're going to say something?
No, not at all.
Thank you so very much for joining us on our show, and God bless you and your family. You're doing wonderful things, and keep up the great work. I'm sure we're going to be running into each other down the road real soon.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been my pleasure.
Thank you so much. That's Cindy Vallone. I mean, amazing. I mean, it's really a cool thing to see how diverse she is and all the different things that she does, and with essential oils, with her family, empowering her children, and working with guide dogs. I mean, it's just well-rounded.
I love the connection that her and her family have together to help empower each other. And I think that, that's something that really, hopefully that really resonated for those of you who are around for the whole show, is that when you are in a healthy relationship, whether it's your children, whether it's your romantic partner, whomever it is, it's about inspiring each other and supporting each other to be the best versions of themselves, not what we want for someone else. And I actually just had a conversation with one of my clients today that they weren't happy with how somebody else was doing something. And I said, yeah, but how did that affect you? And so sometimes we're triggered by what somebody else, we want them to act and behave in a certain way, but that becomes codependent, that becomes controlling. So to be able to say, hey, I love you no matter what. I want you to be happy with your decisions and for you to make the best decisions for you. And I want to support you for whatever that is. I think that's a piece that a lot of people forget about, is we don't have to necessarily agree with everybody else because we have differences, but we have to support that person for being an individual, for who they are.
All right. Well said. I want to take us back a little bit because you were very passionate about the young lady who lost her life, Gabby, in Long Island. And, it didn't end well. We really, as a country, as a survivor of domestic violence, we really didn't get closure on that whole situation because the young man was found dead, and we really didn't get the questions answered. But it's kind of the same theme that you've seen in relationships that you have. What's your afterthought about how that all occurred and where things are at now?
Well, I think, my half sister actually is an assistant DA in Colorado. And so she reaches out to me sometimes to talk about my perspective when it comes to domestic violence types of situations, because she wants to just kind of get into the mind of someone who has been, violated. And, I think that based even what she said, there's just not enough training. And I think all of this, of course, women of color, Indigenous women. There's a huge issue with Indigenous women disappearing and literally nothing being done whatsoever. Right. You know, if Gabby came, you know, brought to light what kind of issue this is with women disappearing, the abuse, the violence, all the things that so many women and men are dealing with, then I think it could be a real blessing, because police officers, you know, there's the bad ones in every batch. You know, we don't need to go down that route. But the whole idea is that most of them want to do a good job. They want to help. That's what they went in to the force for, was to help other people. Right. So if we don't give the right education to people, they're not going to know the right thing to do. Those officers in the body cam footage, that, you know, they thought they were doing the right thing. And of course, someone from the other side who's been in a toxic relationship, and anyone else was, you know, sitting on the sidelines like I was, we were mortified. We were like, oh my gosh, why are they allowing this to happen? They're letting them get back together. This is going to be bad for her. We're thinking about all those things. And because lack of training, lack of education, those things didn't happen. And she ended up losing her life. And then the guy, and Brian, ended up losing his life too. I mean, it was, the cause of death was suicide. So, you know, nobody won in the end. No. So, you know, I hope that out of any of this, the closure that maybe we can get is that more education, more training in the police forces to help support people in these types of domestic violence situations, so that we can better support, you know, everyone, so that everyone can work out better. I mean, imagine if she had children. Then, you know, I mean, there's all these other things that come up. So I think that, you know, hopefully more education will start being better practice.
Right. And well said, Stephanie. And I appreciate your thorough feelings about this, because that's the work that you do. And we have to continue to bring it to light, just like we have to talk about what happened in Michigan. I mean, a 15-year-old having a gun that was purchased on Black Friday from a father, and bringing this gun to school. And, you know, our thoughts and prayers go out to these 3 young kids. And I think there's 4. We don't have the 4th one, Madison, Tate, and Hannah. I mean, that community is rocked. And we've seen this far too many times in schools and different community settings. And there's got to be better control in these gun laws. And I know the NRA is behind a lot of the things that we do for this country, but we really have to buckle down, because this high school, just like any high school USA, is going through a traumatic experience that no one should ever go through.
Well, in your background in mental health, I mean, this, to me, in my opinion, all of this comes back down to mental health. If we are better supporting people that need it, there is a better chance of stopping this before it becomes a mass casualty event. I mean, mental health in this country is still not looked at very positively by a lot of people. And insurances decide after how many sessions you're cured and you don't need any therapy anymore. And I think that this pandemic has showed us more than anything how much we need help. And my clients don't ask for help. I'm sure a lot of your clients, by the time they come to us, they've been suffering for so long because they're afraid to ask for help. They're afraid to be weak, that there's a lot more work that has to be done. If we could help people from the very beginning and take away the stigma, you know, if you broke your leg, you would go to the hospital. But for some reason, when it comes to mental health, we're embarrassed, we're ashamed, we feel guilty, all of these things. And we lack getting help to really dire consequences for everybody.
Right. I think it needs to be better focus on mental health issues and better focus on gun control. I mean, the combination is a deadly cocktail. And I think that in this country, I mean, I know we're getting distracted by a lot of different things in this country. We have to get back to the basics, like relationships and mental health issues and gun control and things like that, and get back to supporting one another and to really understanding what's going on and not getting overwhelmed by life, but just to really focus in on, you know, what's really important. And it's our thoughts and prayers go out to all those families for Madison, Tate, Hannah. It's heartbreaking. And we're going to end our show with a little instrumental musical piece remembering these 4, and the folks that were injured by this heinous act. So, Stephanie, we'll see you next week, and thank you for tuning in.
you.